the residents of the town of Portland and Stroudwater, I thank you for your congratulations on my safe arrival on this hospitable shore, on this land, the sight of which has excited in me the liveliest emotions, and in which country I will not be able to take a single step without awakening in me some grateful recollection. What purer pleasure than to behold the principles for which we have all contended both on the field of battle and in public assemblies, consecrated by the happiness of an entire nation. Truly, the free and spontaneous homage of this free and enlightened people is a striking lesson for the powerful of the earth. It teaches them that if nations forget or only remember with execrations the names of those who oppress them, they also honor, they cherish their benefactors, and leave their memory as a legacy to the gratitude of their posterity. The deep emotions which I experience in seeing you as the guest of the nation cannot be described. As we know, the war of the Revolution and the struggle for our freedom by the patriotic citizens of America towards the close of the last century was successful and has proved most auspicious to human happiness. Americans are and should be uncompromisingly proud of their republic, its liberties, its growth in population, wealth, and prestige. Your faith in constitutional freedom is unbounded, and you rightfully believe that it must prevail throughout the world. I share this belief. Moreover, since the war of the revolution in this country, the introduction of American principles not only on this whole hemisphere, but also on the other side of the Atlantic has been the object of my continued desire and my fond hopes as well. We, also patriots of 1789, sought to establish the national dignity, the security of property, and happiness for our beautiful France upon the sacred foundations of rational liberty. Notwithstanding our misfortunes, the contemporaries of the epoch, and especially your recent respected president, will inform you that the revolution of 1789 has greatly ameliorated the conditions of an immense majority of the people in France. Let me, however, observe that if the sentiments which have impelled our friends in Europe and myself to build on the ruins of the Bastille the principles of national sovereignty newly proclaimed, to pronounce on the altar of the Champ de Mars the oath which a nation in arms swore to constitutional laws emanating from the people, afterwards to defend those laws against the intrigues and errors of anarchy, and at a more recent period, namely the catastrophe of Waterloo, to endeavor to return into the hands of the people those powers which we wish to direct against all the members of a coalition inimical to the rights of humanity. If all these sentiments, I say, have not been repaid by the wished-for successes, some progress has at least been made towards the emancipation of Europe, and the dissemination of American principles has not been entirely in vain. The deep emotions which I experience in seeing you now as the guest of the American nation cannot be described. Among the circumstances of my life to which you have been pleased to allude, none can afford me such dear recollections as my having been early adopted as an American soldier. Happy I am to feel that the marks of affection and esteem bestowed on me bear testimony to my perseverance in the American principles I learned under the tent of Washington, and of which I shall to my last breath prove a devoted disciple. That we veterans have been the faithful soldiers of independence, freedom, and equality, those three essential requisites of national and personal dignity and happiness, that we have lived to see those sacred principles secured to this vast republic and cherished elsewhere by all generous minds, shall be the pride of our life, the boast of our children, the comfort of our last moments. I have ever considered it my pride and my honor that I embarked in the cause of independence in this country, and I rejoiced when I found myself again landed on the American shores. You, kind citizens of Portland and Stroudwater, assembled in this festive place, the home of my old friend and companion in arms, Captain James Means, were pleased to accept my thanks for the expressions of your attachment and receive my best wishes for your individual prosperity and happiness, and the cordial tribute of my grateful, constant, affectionate respect and last wishes of a grateful veteran. In closing, I must recognize Madame Mason, ici présente, the daughter of my good friend Captain James Means. I had the opportunity to discuss with her at length upon the journey from below the hill to the site of her own education upbringing, of which I am most impressed, and of which, as you may know, I have long been a supporter and an ardent admirer of those who seek to educate young women at the same level to which young men are educated both in this country and in Europe. Madame Mason is an example of the benefits of such philosophy, and I cannot say more. She will show you, I'm certain, soon of her own talents later on. She reminded me, however, of another good friend of mine, a young woman of about her age, Madame Frances Wright. I wish she could be here to have met you. I wish she were here to meet all of you. Frances, or Fanny, to those of us who know her well, is currently in the state of Indiana. She is working or visiting a community there that espouses many of the same beliefs I do concerning the rights of women, the rights of men of all colors and races to be free. And I hope to see her soon. She should be coming to join me at some point before I depart. I was much saddened that she could not be here to meet all of you. I should also mention to you that I had the opportunity just last week in the city of Boston to meet a young woman with whom I was very impressed, and again, utterly supported the foundation upon which I just stated my devotion to the education of young women. A young woman of 15 years of age by the name of Margaret Fuller. I met her at a ball on the evening before the dedication of the cornerstone of the monument at Bunker Hill. I was so impressed with her, the cogent way in which she could express her values, her knowledge, thanks to the education given to her by a man much like myself who felt that his daughter should receive the same level of higher education as his sons. At age 15, to express herself so articulately and in such means as to move the heart of this old man. Again, I will remind you of her name, Margaret Fuller. She is yet a young girl of 15, but I'm certain that she will be destined to become a great woman of letters, whose efforts will civilize society's tastes and enrich the lives of her contemporaries wherever she goes. So, you will have heard it from General Lafayette today, Margaret Fuller. Remember that name. And now, mesdames et messieurs, I will once again thank you for your kind welcome here